So I want to share you guys AI automation that I've made to basically make it very simple to create an image of my face. Let me show you exactly how it looks like. So what basically happens is thumbnail trigger. If I write anything here like as a Santa Claus, words are hard. As a Santa Claus, maybe as an elf inside of a glass bottle. What's going to happen is that we're going to trigger an automation that is trained on my face. As you can see here, we have an automation that basically makes an image of anything that I write inside of this Slack and turns it into an image of my face. You can see this working in the background. You can run as many as you want. And I find it really useful for me to make thumbnails. And I'm not sure what other people are going to use it for. Instagram? Wait, did you use it for something specific, Mike? What did you use it for again? Profile image?
Profile
picture?
yeah, actually, I did. Yeah. I've got my profile image that's made with AI. It's actually pretty good quality though. I've got to say in Slack.
Yeah.
Yes, I was surprised. I was like, whoa, like 95% almost there. And yeah,
Exactly.
I used it for the thumbnail uh template automation, right? As
Mm-hmm.
well. So yeah.
Yeah, there are basically people selling this service for $49 a month, I think, to create profile images for LinkedIn and stuff like that. So if you guys want to steal it and make profile images and not pay $49 a month, you can set this up as well. God.
There we go. And then you could look like that.
God, please train it on your best pictures, everyone. As oh God, I, I'm not gonna send this to my family. Oh, here we go. So here we have an elf, which should kind of resemble me. I guess it does a little bit. And it also turned a little bit girly,
Actually,
which is
yeah,
something that happens. Oh, wow.
that
That's
wasn't too bad.
really cool. Yeah, that's really cool. So all that basically happened right now was that I wrote a couple of words inside of this trigger message here, and then we got the images popping out, and that's basically what I'm gonna share you how to do right now. And it's simple, and it's also a little bit complicated, but if you just follow this step by step, it's gonna be pretty simple. The first step that we need to do is to train the AI model on Replicate. And I made a tutorial about this before, and I called it Images of Yourself, AI Andy. So if you search this into YouTube, you're going to be able to find this video here with me as Spider-Man, which walks you through basically how to train a model on your face. All you need for this is 12 images. Is that right, Mike? I think it's 12.
Uh, at least 12. And the important thing is you select the best quality you have. So if you have only 12 and they're like top quality, then just use those. Don't use any other images.
Yeah, I had the exact same thing where I had a bunch of images where my hair was going crazy on the sides, and it definitely shows in the output. So I recommend a smaller number, but very high quality. And it's actually getting worse if you try to do 50 images and some of them are kind of bad. So yeah, keep that in mind. Yeah, I don't want to go through step by step because I actually do it here and the tutorial is really great. And I show how to do a custom prompt here that basically creates a prompt with a custom GPT that turns the text that I did earlier. So you guys saw me writing the words picking potatoes, and then it turns into so if I said as Iron Man, it would be this massive prompt that basically ChatGPT writes to make it a little bit better. So Andy has Iron Man in an epic superhero landing. AI has a kneeling in a classic superhero landing pose in the middle of a bright futuristic city square. This is the custom GPT that we're running in the module here, which is a message assistant. So I'm gonna break it down step by step.
Just quickly for
in
that,
how I set it up.
do we give access to it in the community?
That is a really good that's a really good thing. Let me export it actually, and I'll make sure to download it, or I'll make sure to add it to my reminders. The new Siri. I've actually used Siri pretty well with the new. Did you try reminders? I guess you don't use Apple, huh?
I've got Apple, but I don't really use Siri, to be fair. So no. Yeah. So the automation is going to be available under Copy My Automations, same place that you get all the rest of the blueprints from. So that's where you're going to be able to find it.
Yeah, that's right. And basically, if you have the blueprint already, all you need to do in order to set it up is to connect it with some softwares. So first of all, you don't have to use Slack. I'm using Slack, but you could use Telegram, WhatsApp, even Notion and other triggers. It doesn't really matter as long as you have a nice trigger event. And obviously, my trigger event is the Slack, and what I get is the text as a Santa Claus words. Then we send them directly to the connection of ChatGPT that I've created that makes this really nice prompt. And the prompter here, if I go to ChatGPT Playground, is set up so that I turn a basic prompt into a really nice prompt in just one automation. So I'm going to log in here real quick and show you guys the actual prompt. I believe I showed it in the other here, so I'm not going to waste time here. The tutorial is really great on how to set up your images. But just know that the custom prompt that I have inside of this video is the exact same that I have inside of this thumb prompter.
And we're also gonna share this the prompt in the school. Sorry.
Yep, that's a good. That's great. The next thing is that what ends up happening after we are finished with the actual training is that we have a replicate LoRa replicate, and we need to connect through an API. So the one that I'm using here is called multi. I hope I can find it. FluxDev LoRa. Yeah, this is exactly new Tinder image. Oh. I literally I was sitting here one night just like, yeah, I'm gonna do all the Tinder images.
Tinder images.
There were a couple of them that are actually really good, but some of them are just way too sexy, man. I can't get away with this. That jawline, man. This guy has been mewing all year. Either way, at the end of the video that I was talking about, we end up with basically a LoRa that we can put the AI and the LoRa in the LF LoRa string. And you have a LoRa, right? What was the name of it again?
Oh, good question.
I think you sent it in Slack. And basically, what we need is for AI Andy to be early in this prompt, or the best is actually first. And I actually have another rule, which I have to put man after, because sometimes it makes me into a girl. I don't know why. Bad facial features, something like that. And
I'm just gonna send in chat.
And if I have AI and a man in the beginning, then it basically creates anything I want. So AI and a man, I don't like to do on the beach because it creates me weird. In a James Bond type of car. Specific. We can change the outputs, number of outputs, and things like that. It takes about 60 or so seconds to generate four of them, I believe. We can see exactly how long it takes now. But the smaller images you have, obviously it goes a little bit faster. You have shared now. Is it in Slack or
in Zoom.
in Zoom chat? And by the way, we got Judin in here, which is super awesome. If you have any questions that you are looking to get some answers, drop it in the chat and we'll happily make it, we'll happily answer it here today. So if I use, for example, Mike's LoRa, I can get his images because he's trained himself. And you have a trigger keyword as well, Mike?
It's oh God, hold on.
Or maybe it's the actual
Try
LoRa Michael
try
one.
Michal. Yeah, try
Okay.
this, but without the one. There you go. And
Standing
then
in.
but man as well, just because weird results.
It's not only me with bad facial features. Oh, oh, you got great facial features, Mike. Oh my goodness, James
There you
Bond. Yes, James Bond. Hey, you couldn't do. And it does me so dirty with that hairline. God.
go.
I have to put it into Photoshop after and just like liquefy my forehead down again. Anyways, Michael standing on top of a mountain in ski outfit. And then I'll do a number of outputs as 2 because that is faster. And I'll show you how this connects back to the actual API here. And it's really simple. If you haven't set up one of these HTTP API requests, it's a skill that you're going to use again and again and again. And to me, it was really hard in the beginning. And I had so many mistakes before I learned how to do it. When I learned how to do it, it is very simple. Let's go back and see. So we're now at 64%. And we'll see what happens at the end here if we have this trigger keyword. And that's something that I explained in the video as well, is that you have to have a trigger phrase. Here we go. That's so nice. In the Austrian Alps. You look like a little bit like a dad here, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I put like man in his early 20s in prompt as well. Just because it likes to like create like 50-year-old version of me sometimes.
Yeah, it's funny, these AI tools. Okay, but yeah, you guys know how to do this. And essentially, to teach you guys the HTTP on Replicate, you can see that they've made it so easy here to have an HTTP button. And what we need to do is to actually we need to tell Replicate that we're trying to get access to use this FluxDev LoRa. And the way we're going to do that is through an authentication. And how we do that is basically the method of post and having the header be authorization, having the word bearer space, and then our API token. So please don't use this. I'm not going to blur it, but it's only for the school community, okay? Don't rack up my... don't use my LoRa and make faces of me. Then what we need to do is to send basically all of the stats that we have as input. So you might have seen we have the prompt, we have the HF LoRa, which I changed to Michael before. Then we have the LoRa scale, number of outputs, aspect ratio, and you can actually change a couple more things here as well. But these are the settings that I have. And if you download the blueprint that is inside of School that I'll give to you after this live, you will get this exact prompt. So just download it and import it, and then it's going to be a lot easier. And the top one is the URL. this you will probably see a lot when you have HTTP request or API, and it comes from the bottom here. So you see HTTPS, this is the link. And for every API, there's basically a link that you put in the top, and pretty much every single time as well, there is an authorization header that has a bearer and a space. And some people might do this. And when I say some people, I'm talking about me. Don't do this. Put a bearer and a space. I don't know what you think about this, Mike, but you also did this, but it's kind of a rule I have in my head. I don't know if you have run into the same.
Yeah, just like for small things I try to remember to do every time, right? small things like this.
Yeah, exactly. And after this, we have to make sure that we parse the JSON, and it's not this one. Yeah, everything else is quite fine. And then the next thing we do is basically, I'll try to explain this because I feel like it's going way too long. I'm way too excited today, guys. It's just how it is. Back again in the office, making videos. What I do is I actually ask it to send me a generating, please wait 45 seconds, because the next step is a sleep. So we need to make sure that it actually runs. And then we need to make sure that it's completed before we actually make the new request. And the request here is a get. So we actually do the exact same. And then we request to get that data URLs. Then all that happens is that we send those back again to the Slack message. And the data here, output, is basically 3 different links. And because Slack is such a fine software, they actually display it for us with just a link. So I don't even have to click the links. I can just watch them here. And that is the end of this automation. So in essence, if you want to set this up yourself, use Slack or any other trigger message or things like that. Run it through a prompting bot, basically. Make the request that you have in Replicate, and then you get an image back into the Slack.